Hello everyone, this is Mr. Elrod. Today we're going to be looking at AP European History. Specifically, we want to look at the different types of writing that we have in the AP European History course. Now the reason that this is important is because in order to be successful on the AP exam, we first need to understand the different types of things that we're going to come across as we take the exam. Now, European history has been made similar to U.S. history and world history in that the types of essay writing that you're going to do is going to be different from really all the other AP exams that you've taken. I also teach AP Human Geography. There's really only one type of writing in that particular class, but in AP European History, you're really going to be dealing with 3 different types of writing. So the purpose of the video today really is just to walk you through the different types of writing that you're going to have to do so that you can be better prepared for the test that you're going to be taking in May. So first of all, if we look at just the 3 different types of essays that we have, first we need to become familiar with the verbiage and the different types of, just guess the names that we have for the different types of essays. So you see there, the 3 different types we have what's called the short answer question, abbreviated as the SAQ. We have the long essay question, abbreviated as SEQ, and then the one that most people are familiar with is what's called the document-based question, or the DBQ. Now, later on in another video, I'll go over the different types of rubrics and look at how the rubrics are used in each of those essays. But again, for today, we're really just looking at what is it that those essays look like, how is it that we need to approach those particular essays, because really each of the different types of essays are looking at assessing you in different areas of historical skill and also your different areas of historical thinking. So the first type of essay we are going to look at is what is called the SAQ, or the short answer question. Okay, so when you go into the AP exam and you have the opportunity to answer these questions, what you're going to find is that you still have, and they made this change, you have 4 different short answer questions, but you only have to answer 3 of them. Now, 2 of them are going to look similar, and the other 2 are going to look different from the others. Okay, and so the first 2 that you come across are going to be what's called stimulus-based. When we talk about stimulus-based, this is something that the College Board has been doing with the different history classes, is that basically we're just looking at some sort of document, whether it be a primary source document or it's a secondary source document. That's what the stimulus is. You're supposed to use that stimulus in order to consider the question and then evaluate it so that you can then answer the question. Now, the thing to notice is that those 2 that are stimulus-based, you have to answer those questions. You don't have any choices. Now, when you come to the non-stimulus-based questions, you actually have a choice between the 2 of which one that you would like to answer. So really quick, I just want to take a minute and look at an example of what a stimulus-based short answer question would look like. So this is actually from the course description. You can find it online. It's in a PDF. Not that big of a deal, but this gives you an idea of what it should look like. So you come into the exam. You come to the short answer question part of the exam, and so you'll see at the very top, you'll see where it says use the passage below to answer all parts of the question that follows. Okay, and so then you have what's called the stimulus. So there's this section here that I'm about to highlight. I guess I can't highlight on a PowerPoint, can I? I guess I could. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go highlighter. Okay, so this part right here that I'm going to highlight ever so well, this is what is called the stimulus. Okay. So the idea here is that you are going to read through this particular stimulus. Now, this stimulus is actually a secondary source document. It is a historian doing a historical analysis. In this case, we're talking about Napoleon. Now, the question doesn't start until you get down here to the bottom of the short answer question. So this, the ABC, is what you're actually answering, and so you're supposed to use this up here, this stimulus, in order to answer these questions. Now, quickly, just on the short answer question, these are meant to be answered relatively briefly. That's why they're called short answer questions in an ABC format. Okay, so don't worry about you doing really long extended responses. Just answer them in a couple of sentences. In fact, you're going to get a box, and it's maybe about a half a sheet of paper to a sheet of paper, and you have to answer inside that box the short answer question. Okay, so that's our short answer question that is stimulus-based. Now, if we go to our short answer question that is not stimulus-based, this is kind of like your typical essay question that you might find in a lot of classes. Notice how there's no stimulus. Basically, you just have the question there, and it asks you. In this case, we're talking about a change in the relationship between church and state from the beginning of the Reformation to the end of the English Civil War. Okay, so one's change. B part is talking about a continuity in the relationship between church and state, and then C is explain one significant effective changes in the relationship. So this really is getting more at your historical knowledge and understanding of different events without the stimulus. So you're not really responding to the primary or the secondary source document. Again, this type, the non-stimulus, you'll get two choices, and you have to pick one of them. You only have to answer one. So in total, you're only going to be answering 3 short answer questions. The next type of essay question that we have in the AP European History test is what's called the long essay question, or the LEQ. Now, this is what you'll recognize is your really typical kind of history class question. It's a question, and the question itself typically is very short, but it's a very large question, and it requires you to develop your thesis, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion. So it's, again, kind of typical of history classes. So this is an example, again, that I pulled off the course description. Evaluate the most significant difference between the Italian Renaissance and the Northern Renaissance. So you're comparing there. Again, one of the things that you get with the long essay question this time, though, is you only have to pick one. Now, they're going to give you 3 options, and what I did is I listed here for you. They've actually gone ahead and told us that question 1 is going to deal specifically with period 1. Question 2 will deal with periods 2 through 3, so whatever the question is, it's going to span both periods. And question 3 is going to span periods 3 and 4. So this particular question we're looking at is the period 1 question. Okay. So again, notice how the question is relatively short, but it requires an extended response. This is really where you're showing in the test your historical knowledge, your ability to recall the information, use specific examples of history, things along those lines. But again, you only have to answer one of those questions. The last type of question that we're going to deal with, actually this is in reverse order. The DBQ will come before the long essay question, but that's okay. If you're familiar at all with the College Board classes, the AP classes, you should be familiar with the document-based question. Now, the document-based question has undergone several changes over the last several years, and so basically what happens with the DBQ is that you get what's called the prompt, and we saw the prompt earlier in the short answer question. No, I guess we didn't have a prompt in the short answer question. So you have the prompt. It says this one is evaluate whether or not the First World War was a transformative event in European women's history. Okay, so you have one question, and along with that question, you're going to get 7 documents. Really, the whole purpose of this type of question is to get you to use the different documents that they supply to you in order to create the argument. So this isn't really so much about your complete memorization of historical events, but rather your ability to pick and choose documents, understand kind of the nuances within the document, so you can create historical argumentation kind of in a short period of time. Okay, so those are the 3 different types of essays you're going to be writing. Again, the whole purpose of this is just kind of give you an introduction into these types of questions, give you some examples of the different types of questions that you're going to see. It is important for us to go over the rubrics, so I'm going to spend some time going over those. Those actually haven't been published yet. They changed the rubrics again for this year, so once the rubrics get published, I'll create another video where we'll take some time examining the different types of rubrics, where you can see where you get points and the different things that you're going to be required to do as a part of those types of questions. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope to see you next time.